Welcome, 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 everybody. We are super glad you guys are here. We are super glad you guys are here. A couple announcements for you guys before we head into worship. We're glad you're here. My fantasy football team is in shambles, therefore I'm crying on the inside. Just in case you guys all wanted to know. But we're glad you're here. A couple announcements really quickly for us. Our first announcement is our connection card. So if it's your first time here and you have not filled out one of these connection cards, please talk to the adult at your table and we'll get you one because we want to get you a gift that says, hey, we're glad that you're here and we want to stay in touch with you. And so if you haven't filled one of those out before, please get a hold of us and fill one of those out. The next thing is our toy drive for the Parlier Christmas party. So every year we've done a toy drive where you buy toys, you turn them in unwrapped because we take them to a big party in Parlier where we partnered with another church that gives these toys to families who need them, who otherwise wouldn't be able to give a gift to their kids. And so we do that, and your drop-off will be in the Children's Center. You guys can do that next week. But please have all these toys unwrapped and to the Children's Building by December 5th. Our next one is Hume Lake. Hume Lake, be there or be square. Sign up soon because the prices will be raised pretty soon here. So sign up. It's $225, January 21st to the 23rd, and it's going to be a blast. And our last one is Big Sad. No small groups this Wednesday. So if you are here this Wednesday, you will be sad. So no small groups, but we will see you 1 week from today right here in this building, ready to go after your bellies are full with Thanksgiving. So we will see you in 1 week from today. So no midweek service. All right, let's dive into prayer, and then we'll head into a time of worship. God, I pray for each and every one of us as we head into this season of Thanksgiving that whatever's going on, we get a nice break from school, but if we have a lot of family stuff going on, I pray for all the families here at this church that you help us navigate this time of just heightened emotions, heightened tensions between our families, but God, that you help us navigate all those things through you, and you help us kind of navigate through the darkness. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Welcome, everybody. Please stand and worship with us. I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was mine till I met. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I've tried to hide. It was my dream till I met. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran Sing it out. I needed rescue. I needed rescue. My sin was heavy. The chains break. Got the weight of your glory. I needed shelter. I was an orphan, but you've called me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Your love is the air that I'm breathing. I had a future, my eyes were open, but when you called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day.
From heaven you can hear. I know you're drawing near as I worship. I'm held within your love. The wind and waves will come, but I will stay here. Sing, I lift my hands. Lift my hands to heaven, hear my heart surrender. Tell my soul again, you are Lord of all. Though the seas are raging, you will speak and tame them. In you I find my rest, you are in control. Through valleys I will trust. Your spirit is enough to keep me walking. You guide my every step. Speak life to me again. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Lift my hands to heaven. Hear my heart surrender. tasted the world's more than enough. Its promise is fleeting, of water and wine. I emptied the cup and found myself wanting. But there is a well that never runs dry. The water of life, the blood of the vine. 'Cause all I know is everything I have means nothing. Just one thing I ask, and this I will seek, if only to know you, to be where you are, go where you lead. My God, I will follow. The things of this world I've counted as lost. I lay it all down and take up this cross. 'Cause all I know is everything I have means nothing. Jesus, if you're not my one, everything I need right now. And all I want is everything you are and nothing. Jesus, if you're not my one, everything's in me right now. And I sing, I want nothing but to know you and to be with you, my God. And I sing, and with everything within me, I will worship you, my God. And all I know is not my one, everything I need right now. All I need is you right now. Let's go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this morning, that we just get to come to you and worship you with our whole heart. I pray that we keep our focus on you throughout the rest of this week and throughout Thanksgiving, that we would just be thankful for everything you've done for us. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Hi, everyone. Dude, technology sucks, huh? Right? Whatever, it's all good. Before we start, I have a question that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just out of my own morbid curiosity. I was listening to something this week, and they were having a debate between turkey and ham on Thanksgiving. And I was confused as to why this is even a debate, okay? What is the correct answer? Okay. I I heard way too much ham. Turkey is the correct answer, okay? Ham? Ham, what are you doing with your life? Oh my gosh. Jeez. Look, okay, all right. Look, we can all respect that maybe we all have differing opinions, and we can also respect that some opinions are wrong, okay? And ham is the wrong opinion. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, it was the first night of NFL kickoff. So Zach, Rachel, and Keaton came over to my house, and Zach and Keaton and I were watching football. Zach and I are big Cowboys fans, and so let's go. Relax. Cowboys were playing the Bucks on that night, on a Thursday night. It's the only game on, so no matter, it makes it extra special because the Cowboys are playing, but no matter what game is playing that night, I want to watch it. I'm locked in, I'm invested, and I won't speak for Zach, but I feel like I know Zach's answer on this one. I was expecting the Cowboys to just get smacked that night, okay? Yeah, we were on the same page on that one. The Bucks are coming off the Super Bowl win. We had a real rough season last year. It was not going to be good, okay? But it's whatever. You stick with it. You stay strong. It's all good. So the game starts, and we're actually with them. We're actually hanging with them, and it's a good game. We make some couple bad plays, but we're in the game. We have the ball in the fourth quarter. There's less than 2 minutes left. We are down by 2 points, and we have the ball, and we are driving down the field. We are in field goal range. Also, I don't know if you guys are like this as well. When it's your team, you act like you're on the team. So it's I did nothing, okay? I did absolutely nothing. I was sitting on my couch. They were playing somewhere else. Anyways, but we have the ball, and we are driving down the field in field goal range. All we have to do is hold on to the ball, and to keep the ball, drain the clock as much as we can kick a last-second field goal, we can win the game. It's going great. So I don't know if you guys are like this, but I am a yeller when it comes to sports. I yell at the team, I yell at the screen, I yell at the refs. I just we are yelling, we are into it. Keaton's just laughing at both Zach and I because his Broncos are not playing. He's just yelling at us, making fun of us. Keaton, I know he's a Broncos fan, not sure what that is about. But anyways, so it is down. There's less than 2 minutes left, and it's third down. If we convert this third down, we can just drain the clock for the rest of the game. And we can go down, game-winning field goal, great start to the season. So it's third down, most important play of the game. They go to hike the ball, and my power goes out. Not joking. My power goes out. Not only my power in my house, the entire neighborhood's power goes completely out. So we are all freaking out. And once again, I'm not making up this story at all. Zach and Keaton and Rachel, we were all there. So Zach and Keaton and I were just freaking out, what's going on? What happened? So Keaton pulls up his phone and he finds the game. Luckily we have just regular cell service. And so we watched the final possession of this game huddled around Keaton's little phone, cheek to cheek, yelling at the phone, probably giving each other COVID. I don't know, all right? We were that close to each other. But my power went out in every single neighborhood around it. Actually, Zach lives a couple kind of blocks down from me. His power went out. It was this huge power outage that night. And I'm just thinking man, it's so creepy. It's so weird. You guys have probably been out in your neighborhood at night, but at least there's street lights. Maybe someone left their front porch on, but this was absolutely nothing. No street lights, no porch lights, no lights from the house, just pitch black in my house, pitch black in the neighborhood. It was super, super creepy. The idea of walking around in darkness is the picture I want you guys to think about today. It's that picture that you and I kind of feel sometimes when our life seems really dark. And it's not just about the electricity going out. It's not just about you turn the lights off and it's kind of creepy in your house. No, it's those situations that make us feel like we're emotionally walking around in darkness. Because life can feel dark sometimes, right? It can feel not great. Maybe think about on a global level, no matter where it happens, but something a terrorist attack or a natural disaster or a mass shooting. It could happen here in California, here in our state, or it could happen here in the United States, somewhere else, halfway across the world. It doesn't matter. When that stuff happens, it kind of hits us emotionally, right? You're like, oh man, I can't believe that happened. How do I process through that? How do I think through that? Or maybe it's on like a local level. You know, maybe there's a car accident. Maybe a teacher passes away. A classmate passes away. There's something that kind of brings the community together just to mourn together. Or maybe let's take it one more level down. Maybe it's on a personal level for you. It's a parent's divorce. It's a loss of a friend or a loved one, an unexpected move or a breakup that just absolutely broke you. It's those experiences that kind of bring that darkness in us and that they affect us in some way. And it's really tricky to navigate through sometimes, right? We don't really know how to get through it. We know how to get through the easy stuff and the fun stuff, right? When life is going great, you're like, oh man, this is fantastic. I love it. I got this down. But what about the big things? What about the difficult things? The terrorist attacks, the floods, the tornadoes, the car accidents, the divorce, the death. We are never taught how to deal with that. And if we're being honest, when that stuff happens, if I was to take a poll of every single one of you guys, and you were just completely honest with me, we would probably tell each other that when that stuff happens, you and I deal with it in unhealthy ways, right? Sometimes we don't manage it in the best possible way. And of those unhealthy ways, I would expect the majority are three ways that are super unhealthy that you and I deal with when times get tough in our life, when times get dark in our life. The first one, we downplay it. We say it doesn't affect us when it does. We say it doesn't matter to us when it actually does. We say it's not a big deal when it is. And as my wife is my witness, I put this one on the first one because this is me, okay? Like, this is what I do, all right? When life gets hard, when times get tough, I flip that switch and I turn off my emotions. I turn off my feelings. And I just say, nope, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to think about it. I'm done. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect me. But inside, it actually is affecting me. I am hurt by it. I'm in pain by it. I am whatever emotion I'm feeling. And that's just my go-to reaction. And I say it doesn't bother me when it actually does bother me. I downplay it. Or for some of you guys, maybe you're not like that. Maybe you're the second way. You tune it out. You do everything you can to completely just distract yourself from feeling the way you are feeling. You play video games, you surround yourself with people, you practice hard, and you party even harder. And you do everything you can to not feel what you are feeling. I'm just like, no. If I could just do something else, if I can go somewhere else, if I can think about something else, if I can lock into something else, then I don't have to feel all these things that I'm feeling. Or the third one, we lash out. We bottle up those emotions and we let them out in a super destructive way. We get angry, we get destructive, we yell at friends, we yell at family. We lose control of our emotions and our actions because of how we are feeling. None of these ways are healthy. But let's be real, they come naturally to a lot of us, right? Maybe for some of us, you're like, yeah, I do that one. For others of us, you're like, oh yeah, I do number 1 and 2. Oh, and the other ones, yeah, I do all 3. Is that bad? It's like, yeah, they're not great, all right? But they're natural to us, right? We just kind of do it. We don't even think about it. And I'm going to tell you this. I want to give you this warning. If that is how you are dealing with the darkness in your life, if that's how you are dealing with the pain in your life, you're dealing with it in those unhealthy ways, it will take you longer to get through the darkness than dealing it with a healthy way. You see, the whole idea is when you enter into the darkness, when you enter into a tough time in life, when you enter into pain or hurt in your life, the whole idea is to get on the other side of it, right? You're I'm gonna navigate through this. Maybe it's gonna take a week, maybe it's gonna take a couple weeks, maybe for longer stuff, it's gonna take a couple months, maybe even a year or so, but you wanna get through it as quickly as possible and actually kind of, process through everything. But when we deal with it in unhealthy ways, it actually kind of makes us stuck in that way. It actually takes us longer to get to the other side through the darkness on that other end. But just like when your power goes out for the first time, when the lights go out, the first step is the hardest. That first time when the power goes out, the lights go out, and your eyes are adjusting, there's no more sound anymore, so you got to kind of feel around a little bit. And it's important to see what is right in front of you, but you just can't see it. But the most important part, the first step of navigating through the darkness is figuring out how you feel. You see, the last time you were in the darkness, you probably felt alone or frustrated or hurt or misunderstood or desperate or scared or all of those emotions or a combination of those emotions, all these different things. I want to look at a story today where people were feeling some of those exact same emotions that maybe you're feeling right now, to show you that you are not alone in these emotions. You see, I believe that the Bible has a lot to teach us about every single thing that we would go through, but the Bible can be difficult to understand at times. It can be difficult because it's not like in Jeremiah chapter 5, this chapter is all about how you are going to do a step-by-step process on how to deal with pain. That verse doesn't exist. That chapter doesn't exist. That book doesn't exist. None of that stuff is in there. But what the Bible does have, it has how other people handled it. It shows you adversity that other people went through, the pain that other people went through, the hurt that they experienced, and it said, this is how you should handle it. Or in some cases, it says, this is how they handled it, this is not how you should handle it. That's the unhealthy way. But a lot of times, it's showing you the healthy way to actually navigate through it, how they got through the darkness. So we're going to start in John chapter 11, starting in verse 1. This is what it says. Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick. So there's this random guy named Lazarus. Now he is sick. And so his sisters send word to Jesus, basically saying, hey, this Lazarus guy, he's really, really sick. And Lazarus isn't just some random dude, okay? This is just like, hey, I don't know if you've ever met this Lazarus guy, but if you could like pray for him, that'd be great. Like, no. They know that Jesus actually has a friendship, that he actually has a deep connection with this Lazarus guy. He's described as Jesus. He's the one you love. He's the one you have that deep bond with, that deep connection with. He's one of your best friends. He's sick. And we kind of come to find out, as we're going to read in the story, this is not just like, oh, I got a little cough, pray for me. Oh, you got the sniffles? Oh, we'll pray for you, thoughts and prayers. Like, no. Like, if something doesn't go right, he will die. This is how serious of a situation is. This isn't just like, oh, take some Tylenol, take a little like Dayquil, you'll be all right. No. There's going to need to be a miracle that takes place for him to live. It's not looking good. He's close to dying. We're going to skip a couple verses down. We're going to see how this story continues. Here's what it says. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus has already been in the tomb for 4 days. He's been dead for 4 days when Jesus shows up. Now, Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed home. Lazarus doesn't make it, and there's no other way to put this than Jesus was late. And we're going to read later in this story about how Jesus wasn't actually late, but for your purposes and my purposes, Jesus was late. He showed up 4 days after he had died. Remember, they sent word when he was still alive. So we don't know how long that period of time was. Maybe it's a couple days, maybe it's a couple weeks. We have no idea, but Jesus was late. And Mary and Martha are feeling all kinds of emotions in this moment. They're feeling sadness, they're feeling anger, frustration. And Martha decides, I'm going to go confront Jesus. I'm going to go talk to Jesus, while Mary kind of just stays inside. But we know, here's what Martha says to him in John 11, verse 21. Lord, said Martha, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Think about this for a second. She is blaming Jesus for Lazarus dying. Simple as that. She's basically saying, you showed up too late. You didn't care enough. If you would have been here a couple days ago, if you would have been here a week ago, if you would have been here when we sent word to you, he would still be alive. His death is your fault. Remember, she's talking to Jesus right here, okay? You're like, okay, Jesus is going to like strike her with lightning, I think. I'm not sure what's about to happen, but I'm going to take a step away from Martha right now because she's about to die, all right? Like, and so you're like, well, what's going to happen? Is he going to strike her with lightning? Is he going to yell at her? Is he going to confront her? You go put her in her place, do all these things, just ignore her? He doesn't do any of those things. Because even though Martha is honest with Jesus in this moment, she still trusts in his plan. The very next verse says this. This is Martha talking. But I know that even now, even when my brother is already dead, even when you already showed up late, even when I blame you for his death, God will give you whatever you ask. I trust you in that moment. Then we see how Jesus responds to her. We see how, and it tells us so much about who Jesus is, and it tells us so much about how we should communicate with God. Here's what it says, John 11, verse 33. When Jesus saw her weeping, being Mary and Martha, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit, and he was troubled. Where have you laid him? He asked. Come and see, Lord, they replied. And the shortest verse in the entire Bible, John 11, 35, Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, see how he loved them. Jesus didn't tune out their pain. He didn't dismiss their pain. He wasn't annoyed by their pain. He wasn't offended by their pain. He wasn't all these things. He just embraced their pain. He joined in with Mary and Martha. He hurt with them. He cried with them. He cried right alongside them. He's like, man, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Not only because I lost my friend Lazarus, but because you're experiencing this right now. You lost your brother. You lost your friend. You lost your son. You lost your cousin. Whatever it is, he's like, I'm so sorry. And Jesus allowed himself to feel, and he allowed others to be honest with him as well. Like, hey, Martha, if you want to yell at me, I'm okay with that. You want to express how you're truly feeling about that? I'm okay with that. Because you need to feel all those things. You guys need to feel and process those emotions in a healthy way to understand, here's what I'm feeling right now, and communicate those things, not just stuff them down, not just lash out, not just downplay them. But the story of Lazarus doesn't end there. Let's finish it up in John 11, starting in verse 41. So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me. Next verse. And he said, when he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, and his hands and feet wrapped on with strips of linen and cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, take off the grave clothes and let him go. Jesus didn't arrive on the scene and fix everything immediately. He didn't brush aside the anger. He didn't brush aside the hurt and the pain. He didn't bypass any of the emotions. He could have showed up on the scene and being like, your brother's not dead, he's alive, go. Or he could have done that 3 weeks ago. Or he could have not had him get sick anyways in the first place. But he said, no, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna cry with you because I know what you're feeling right now. Think about this. Jesus knew that he was about to raise Lazarus in just a couple minutes, but Jesus still wept. Jesus still cried. Jesus still allowed himself to feel everything that was going on around himself because of the people, because he cared about what they cared about. He wanted to embrace their pain and embrace the hurt that they were going on in their lives. In those times of darkness, the most common question we have is, what do we do now? And it's okay to grieve sometimes, to feel something, to begin to process out what you are feeling. I see this all the time when I have to do funerals for families. I've seen this with my own family, to be honest with you. What happens is when you've probably been to maybe a handful of funerals, maybe it's been someone close, maybe you don't know them all that well, but from the other side of it, there's a lot of times when you have to plan the funeral. And so what happens is the family member will pass away, the loved one will pass away, and so what people do sometimes, they immediately go into planning mode. And so instead of grieving the loss of that person, I gotta call this person, I gotta call this person, I gotta call this family member, I gotta make these flower arrangements, I gotta set up this with all these different things. And what happens is over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it is, between when they die and then the funeral, they're so busy, they're so distracted with all the planning that they're doing that they never actually grieve the loss of that person that they're burying. And so what you see happen all the time is when the funeral comes, there's nothing else to plan. There's nothing else to do. You see this outpouring of emotion Because these emotions that they've been stuffing for a week and a half, for 2 weeks, of this loss of this loved one, this loss of this friend, just goes. And you see the waterworks just begin to pour out because they did not grieve properly. And I'm not saying that happens for every single person that cries at a funeral, but what happens is it's this overflowing of emotion of like, I didn't grieve this properly the first time. And now it's all hitting me. And now this thing that I've been putting off for 2 weeks, been putting off for a month, it's just hitting me, and they don't know how to process through it in a good, healthy way. You see, Jesus, he didn't try to run away from it. He didn't try to run away from the process of it. He didn't lash out. He didn't cover it up. He felt the pain that everyone else was feeling. And he allowed Mary and Martha to do the same. Jesus is ready to grieve right alongside you. But feeling what you feel, acknowledging what you feel, is the first step. You've got to be open and honest about your emotions and what you're actually going through and what you're actually going to be processing through. 2 quick things, and then we're going to hop into table groups so you guys can kind of discuss this a little more in depth. But 2 quick things that you can do when darkness hits your life. First thing, name and express your feelings in a healthy way. Name them and express them. I am feeling sad. I am feeling hurt. I am feeling angry. I am feeling frustrated. Whatever it is, it's okay to tell that to people. Tell that to a friend. Tell that to a small group leader. Tell that to a parent. Tell that to a family member, whatever it is. But be open and honest about it. This is what I'm feeling right now. And don't try to downplay it. Don't try to tune out your feelings. Don't try to distract yourself for so long so you don't have to feel anything anymore. Don't lash out in an unhealthy way. You have to name your feelings and you have to express them. The second thing, move towards Jesus. I love this picture that the Bible paints, that you see Jesus walking into town 4 days after Lazarus has been dead. And you see Mary and Martha's 2 completely different reactions. Martha goes straight to him. She's ready for a conflict. She's ready for a confrontation. She's ready to tell him every single thing he did wrong, and she's ready to tell him every single thing that she's feeling. And what does Mary do? It says she stays home. No, I'm too mad at him right now. I'm too frustrated with him right now. He hurt me too much. I'm not talking to him right now. You see, what happens, though, is when we move towards Jesus and we can actually be honest with Jesus about this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm really hurt that you even allowed this to happen. I'm in a ton of pain. I don't know why you did this. But Jesus is saying, bring your feelings to me. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be annoyed. I'm not going to be uncaring. Jesus is ready to hurt with you, but he's also ready to comfort you. That's what he did to Martha. He said, you could be honest with me. I'm okay with that. That's not going to hurt my feelings because I hurt right alongside with you. So I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you're right in the middle of this darkness right now. Maybe you have a friend that's right in the middle of this darkness right now, and you're just trying to process through that. But all of us eventually will enter into the darkness. And the first step of getting through it is acknowledging what we are feeling and what we are experiencing right then. And then we need to take a step towards Jesus. Because when we do that, he will always be ready to meet us. And he will always be ready to take us through the darkness. No matter how long it takes, and no matter how painful it will be, he will be with you to be there, to guide you, and to comfort you. So I'm going to pray, and then we're going to hop into table groups. And then I hope that you guys would just kind of dive into this topic and really process out loud what you're feeling right now. God, we are so grateful and thankful that we serve a God that we can be honest to. That God, that we can just pour out our emotions, pour out our thoughts, pour out our feelings, and that you don't get mad at that. You don't condemn us for that. You actually invite us with open arms to say, what are you feeling right now? What are you experiencing right now? And when we are in pain, when we are hurting, you are right there beside us, hurting, weeping right alongside us. And God, we are thankful for that. But God, I pray that we would continue to take those steps towards you, that we would be honest about what we are feeling and experiencing in those moments, and that we would go to you every single time, knowing that you care and you love us. We thank you for this day. Amen.